All right, everybody. Welcome to the What's on the Line podcast, episode 14. We're testing our technology to the max today. We got a live feed coming straight from the Wolford store in a few minutes here to talk about the great work the folks down at Blackwater's Edge and the Wolford store are doing. So it's all about snakeheads today and the Great Chesapeake Invasives Count. I hope you're signed up for that. If not, please check out the scrolling thing at the bottom here. Go to ccamd.org/count. It's a citizen science platform that we've built with our great friends at Yamaha Right Waters to help managers and people understand that the data that we can collect as anglers to help them manage these invasive species like snakeheads, blue catfish, flathead catfish. All right. And so check out the website, ccamd.org/count. Check out the opportunity to become a promotional partner. The Wolford store, Blackwater's Edge, is our first promotional partner for April. So today we are drawing prizes for that. And we're going to go live with our friends here at the Blackwater's Edge and Wolford store right now. So there's Eddie. Welcome, Eddie.
How you doing, guys?
Doing well. How you guys doing today down there?
Good. Kaz is over there taking a peek at all the baits we got on the wall there. You know, you can't keep him from fishing too long. So
I love it. Well, you know, you've got a tremendous headquarters of everything you need to catch snakeheads down in Dorchester County. So why don't you show us what it's all about? Because as soon as we're done doing this walkthrough, I'm going to draw 10 people that will win $25 gift cards for your store, thanks to your donation as our first promotional partner for
absolutely. Yep.
The count.
And the gift cards are right there waiting for everybody. So we're ready to roll.
I love it. So what's going to happen is we're going to draw the winners. Everybody, you will have the entire month of April to get down. I'm sorry, April's over. The entire month of May to get down to the store to pick up your gift card. You got to come down to the store. You're going to use it right there anyway. So you have 1 month. If
That's
you
right.
can't make it in 1 month, it goes into the June drawing. All right, so or May drawing, whatever. My months are messed up. You get the point. So show us what you can buy at the store there, Eddie. What do you all know?
Yeah, for sure. So of course we got our world famous cheesesteaks, but for all you snakehead fishermen, we've got all of the Meps line here. Everybody loves a good Meps. Meps are fantastic for snakeheads. We got the Z-Man chatter baits. They're always a great bait. We've got a full selection of Z-Mans for sure. We got the hyperelastic swim baits. That's my secret weapon for you guys.
Hey, grab one off the shelf for me. I've heard about these. I want to see one
Oh
close.
yeah.
I see that on TV.
These guys, look at that. I mean, that is just beautiful. You can't get any better than that. Those things,
spinner off the tail.
It's exactly right. It's got a little spinner blade off the tail, and it just glides through that water and just picks them right up.
It's amazing.
It is fantastic. Here's Kaz, take some more.
And look, we also got some baits here from Addictions Baits from Daryl Willie. You know, we got some splatter baits. Got a couple things here left on the wall in case you need some of that. You know me. I'm a big Meps fan. Wait, you don't put them back? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they might have been camouflaged in here at my snake skin. I wasn't too sure. Anyway, look, don't forget, we have got the Snakehead Destroyer swim bait, and it's down here. And we've got a few here we're going to be giving away. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. There was like 7 on the table. Something ain't right here. Get your ass over here. Come here a minute. Uh-huh. Yeah. Wait, turn around. Turn around. Uh-huh.
You better watch out. Shoplifting down at the store.
You can't even trust your friends around here. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'm going to let Gary tell you about a couple of things we got over here on this wall, too, here, folks. So listen to Gary.
So I got these pocket frogs, and they're like the poison frogs over in Africa. They're deadly to snakes. and they're great. That's like little pocket destroyers. Don't have them in my pocket, you know. I guess not. Got busted. So yeah, I'm a big frog fan, and a buzzbait fan too. Love those big frogs. Pocket frogs can be. They're just
And you can never forget about the Whopper Plopper. I mean, that was the first lure that I ever used here. You know, that was just an amazing lure for me. We got all kinds of stuff. But look, you're probably asking yourself, what can you catch tomorrow when you come down here and fish this Mayhem tournament? Are you ready? Kapow! 10-pounders, 8-pounders, 6-pounders. That you can catch down here at Blackwater. Look, you better be here tomorrow for this tournament. Be here early. Get stocked up. Get on the water. Beat the heat and get her done.
That's fantastic. So that's all sorts of great stuff there. And Lenny Rudo just chimed in. He's following along live. He said, get the cheesesteaks. Trust me on that.
Oh, yeah.
No question about that. Hey, you guys also have some snakeheads sometimes when it's available, right?
Oh, yeah. We normally do have snakehead on the menu, but we're out right now. I'm waiting to get more snakehead in here soon. But as soon as we get them back in here, they're going to be right back on the menu for sure.
I'll tell you what, last time I was down, I had a great fried snakehead basket. It was fantastic. The food here is great. You know, stop on the side of the road here in Wolford and stop at the Wolford store, get all your setups. And hopefully, again, right now, I'm going to start drawing some winners. So I'm going to see you guys when you get set up again in a minute here. I'm going to close out. We're going to draw some winners, and we'll see you right back here in a minute. We're going to talk tips. We're going to talk about your tournaments and all sorts of other great stuff. Kaz, bring those upstairs with me. I want you to tell us all about them, all right?
All right, we'll be right upstairs in a second.
Thanks, guys. All right, so as you can tell, the Wolford store is full of great stuff that for the snakehead angler, for any angler, really. There's such a great hub of information, and if you're heading down to Dorchester County, it's really easy to find right on Route 16, west of Cambridge. You stop there. If you're fishing in their tournament tomorrow, first thing in the morning, you're going to have your captain's meeting there, and somebody's going to go home with an Angle bait cooler that we were proud to provide them thanks to our great friends at Angle Coolers, the official cooler of CCA. And so I'm going to add some more information here for you on a screen I'm going to share. First of all, where you can find more information about the Blackwater's Edge, folks, the podcast, that's Facebook/Blackwater's Edge, or I'm sorry, Blackwater's Edge. And so you can find out some past episodes of their podcast and just tons of great information. And as you see, today is the last day to register for the Snakehead Spring Kickoff. We're going to talk some more about that in a minute. And again, the Great Chesapeake Invasives Count, I already mentioned it. It's scrolling along the bottom of the ticker. You can sign up here for free. We've got 160 some participants so far, and I think 140 some fish logged already. You're about to see those lists because that's what we draw from. You can see this promotional partner button right here. That's what Eddie and the team down here at Blackwater's Edge, they clicked that button. They said, hey, we're going to help out. We care about this. We want to support citizen science. So they became a promotional partner for April, and we're so happy to have them on today. And so that's what it's all about. Scroll down here through here, and you can see what it's all about, see what our event's about, understand what invasive means. Listen back to yesterday's podcast, the Blackwater's Edge had with Josh Newhart from U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Tons of great factual information about what the scientists are doing, the guys on the front line trying to understand what's going on with these fish. Joe Love from Maryland DNR, the tidal bass manager, he and his team are going above and beyond to better understand these fish. And so we're trying to support them. That's what this count's all about. There's a lot of great information here, and we're talking about monthly prizes. So let me get our random number generator pulled up. I'm going to move a couple windows around. All right, so here is our list of people that have registered in April and submitted catch. So for just registering, they get their name in the hat. For submitting catch, for every catch, you get your name in the hat again. And so this is a list from number 2 down through 277. So it looks like I'm set up and ready to go here. And we're going to do the first 5 prizes here for just anybody, all right? So the first 5, we're going to hit generate, number 73. All right, Christine. All right, Christine, you're the first prize winner, and we're going to get you your contact information, and we'll send you an email. And make sure you get your $25 gift card from Blackwater's Edge Wolford store. We're going to hit another button. Number 222. Chester Pod III. All right, Chester, thank you very much for signing up. Writing quickly. All right, the third winner, number 153. And this is from a catch submission, Nate Geiger. All right, Nate. Nate is a youth angler, catching the heck out of blue catfish, doing a great job. And in fact, I think Nate might be on a future podcast. Turns out he's a neighbor of one of our great board members, and he's a fishing fool. I just noticed how many great catfish he's putting on the board, and they're great eating size. I mean, perfect. So I hope maybe Nate's bringing a few of those home for dinner. Congrats to our youth angler, Nate. All right, number 260. 260, David Green. All right, David, congratulations. And last but not least, this is for the people that are not CCA members. All right, just anybody that participates. 147. Now, CCA members could win during this part. All right, Matt Schultz. All right, and that's for let's see what you logged there. A blue catfish. Thank you, Matt. All right, we're almost finished here. We got 5 more to draw, and that's off of this list. And so this list are CCA members. There's a lot of folks that when you registered and it said you were a CCA member, that's what the box you checked. Well, you're actually expired based on our records, and that happens all the time. So look at the bottom, membership.joincca.org. Make sure your membership is current. Also, you've got our beautiful Tide magazine, something that goes out to every single CCA member around the country. on the mailing label in the back, you'll find your membership ID. And when you go to membership.joincca.org, you can actually log in with your membership ID. There's instructions right there. And the great folks at our membership department are based in Houston, Texas. So for East Coast folks, from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m., every business day, they're open and ready to serve you and help you make sure you can understand how to log into your membership portal. If you send me a message, I can do the same to try and help you out. All right, so let's get this ready to roll, because I know our Blackwater's Edge boys are ready to join us again in a minute. So we're going to go from number 2 through 103. So 2 to 103, and this is going to be 5 prizes. Some of the extras we're going to throw in, we've got some CCA sticker rulers. So everybody here is going to get a ruler, and everybody's going to get a pick from one of the hats. We got a lot of great hats. So we got AFCO hat, we got a CCA Oyster hat, we got 5 or 6 or 7 different Sims hats. And so if you're one of these 5 winners, you're going to get a CCA hat. All right. And we're going to get them down to you, and you're going to pick up your gift card at the store. So here's our first member winner, number 79, Kent Grander. Thank you, Kent. Number 80, Michael Dunlap. Thank you, Mike. Get out there on your sup and get catching some snakeheads, buddy. All right, number 4, Chad Rice. Congrats, Chad. Chad's been a great supporter from the last 2 years, last year's count and this year's, submitting a bunch of catch. Number 62, Chad again. All right, and remember, folks, somebody can win twice. So Chad's won both his prizes, and if he wins again, it's going to go to the next person. Number 84, Nate. There you go, Nate. There's your second prize. Congratulations, Nate. A youth angler again. You're going to get your ruler and your hat. And so everybody, all your winners, we're going to get in touch with you here as soon as possible to make sure you can pick up your prizes within the next month at the store. I know a couple of the winners, I just happen to know where that they live far away. So if you're not getting to Dorchester County, we'll make sure we can get you the gift card, but you got to spend it at the store anyway. So it's worth a chance to, get on the road, head over to Dorchester County and do some fishing. Eddie and the boys, we're going to bring you back in now, and let's talk about your tournaments. Let's talk about tips and tricks and everything else that you want to share as part of Blackwater's Edge, the Wolford store, and your great Snakehead Championship Series. We're proud to be sponsoring this year.
Yeah, for sure. You guys are sponsoring our Angler of the Year. So
absolutely.
So the anglers are accumulating points across all 4 tournaments, and whoever has the most points at the end of the year is going to be our Angler of the Year. In 2019, the Angler of the Year Championship trophy was actually a wrestling style belt, which was really cool. Everybody really enjoyed that. It was a great hit with everybody. So
hey, I got a surprise. You see that copper fish on the wall behind me?
Oh yeah.
I know you guys have seen the pickerel prizes we gave out. In fact, Eric Packard, one of the most avid anglers in the state, just got a really cool crappie done by Haynes Hoffman at Blue Water Copper Works. I was on the phone with Haynes this morning, and I'm pretty sure the Snakehead Angler of the Year is not only going to get the belt, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have a copper snakehead trophy as well for that person.
Fantastic.
It's going to be beautiful. So hang tight. I got some tricks up my sleeve, but that's coming soon. And hey, what's the best way for somebody to win Snakehead Angler of the Year? When should they register for your tournament?
Immediately, right now. Today is the last day to register for the tournament tomorrow. Tomorrow is our first tournament of the year. Make sure you get registered today, or you're going to be at a severe disadvantage to win that Angler of the Year prize for sure.
I mean, we're almost out of time here. I know that, and the numbers are coming in quick. I think this is going to just be a great tournament to see, because this is going to show you who's good, who's learned, and who's not. You know what I mean? If it's going to be tough tomorrow, those are the guys that are going to stand up. The guys that got a little, but you all got to always remember this too. There's always that one guy that gets lucky. We've seen more than one get lucky.
It's hard to get lucky across 4 tournaments, so that's why we have that Angler of the Year.
That scared me my whole life.
and the coolest thing about the tournament is it's all points. So even though you win tomorrow, because you don't win the next one, doesn't mean that you don't have a shot to be Angler of the Year or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So you get in the cow cutters and you get even more points out.
No, the points aren't towards the Angler of the Year.
We're not doing any points.
No, so the points are accumulated. So the way the tournament works is you submit your 5 heaviest fish. It's by total weight of fish submitted for your 5 heaviest, and then points are distributed from that, and then the cow cutters are completely separate.
How will points be determined on the fish? Explain that.
So basically, it goes strictly by weight. So whoever wins the tournament will get 100 points. Second place will get 99 points. Third place will get 98 points, and it goes right down the line.
And the reason I'm asking you to explain that is because we saw it last year.
Right.
We saw guys that were never even near a winning spot or anything like that.
Well, Wayne was our Angler of the Year in 2019, and he never won a tournament all year long. Never finished in the top 3 for any tournament, and yet he came in with Angler of the Year. He really pulled it out.
I think that's what makes this tournament so exciting, because you can be the best angler out there, and just because you're the best angler out there doesn't mean you're going to win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You have to really, really be well-rounded in this thing to really bring it together. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And a lot of guys are, you know?
Of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like this is early on, totally different than the one in June. And so forth.
And the cool thing about it is, because we're doing so many tournaments through the year, there's different opportunities to fish different scenarios and different, you know, the weather that's presented to you for that weekend. You know, we might have some wind this weekend, like they're saying. Our next one might be 120 degrees with 100-degree water temperature. You know what I mean? So all of these guys have advantages, because most of these guys have a specialty when it comes to snakehead fishing. Right. Is it bait? Is it lures? Is it topwater? Is it frogs? Is it buzz baits? Is it jerk baits? You know what I mean? So the cool thing, it's an opportunity for everybody to kind of get a shot at being the champion.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Exactly right.
20 degrees, and we'll try my popsicle.
Or marshmallows, frozen marshmallows.
So Gary, if you were heading out tomorrow, what's your go-to technique?
This is a strange answer.
We were talking about this before the show, so it's real funny.
I'm strictly a topwater guy. I don't like fishing with bait at all. And if I were fishing tomorrow, that's what I'd be using, bait.
Okay. All right. Kaz, what do you think?
Wind to deal with, low water, and I would try it. That would be what I would start with. I'll put it that way. Not saying I wouldn't go top water, but I'd be using bait.
These are my thoughts. You know, wind sometimes plays an advantage for us when we're fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if the air temperature outside, you know, happens to be a little warmer or a little cooler, you know, that's going to affect whatever water comes back in over any exposed bottom. You know what I mean? So any flats that are out, this is all going to come down tomorrow to finding the right temperature, you know, because we've got the front coming through. Everybody knows fish like to get lockjaw when a cold front pushes through and the temperature falls down. They're feeding pretty good today. You know, I'm talking to some people out there and they're catching them up. So I think they're feeding before the front hits. So you're going to see some fish come in this afternoon, be posted on all the pages. I think tomorrow, honestly, I'm with Gary. I mean, I think the guy that's going to come out ahead, who's going to have the numbers anyway, is going to have, you know, minnows. You know, I think it's going to be a live bait thing, you know, and not necessarily minnows. Try some other things, you know. I mean, you might have something else you want to try, an eel, a bloodworm. You'd be surprised what these fish will bite on. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing I would be going, if I were going for one of the prizes, I'd be shooting for most fish.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Minnows and most fish.
Now, if I'm going with lures, everybody knows me. Everybody knows the first thing that I'm picking up in the wind, and that's going to be an inline spinnerbait. You know, I can throw it. I can work it slow. I can work it fast. I can buzz it over top of a shallow area and slow it down as I get into that deeper water where they're probably laying at. You know what I mean? You got to think about something. These fish are going to reposition overnight. You know, especially if it gets cool. They're going to move off them banks. They're going to move into a little deeper water. They're going to be looking for ambush spots, the fish that are going to be feeding.
You know what I'm saying? For the leeward too, where the water's calm.
Yeah. You know, downsize. I hate to say it, but when the fronts come through and I get cold snaps, I like to downsize. You would be surprised how big the fish are just by simply going from a half-ounce chatterbait to an 1/8 ounce chatterbait or something like that. You know what I mean? So sometimes that's all the difference in the world is working that bait 1/4 of the speed you were working it the day before. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like I tell folks, man, if you're fishing and you see them respond, you see them swimming, you see them turning off, man, it doesn't mean they're not interested. It means you're just not doing something to get them to go. So like Gary always says, go back, cast past them, burn it 4 or 5 times, you know, then slow it down. You know, let it hit the bottom, pick it up off the bottom, let it hit the bottom again. You know, tease the shit out of them. You know what I mean?
When Gary and I were fishing the other day, I was fishing with the hyperelastic swim baits. I was taking it across the bottom, bouncing across the bottom. We were in about 2 feet of water. Bounce it across the bottom, nothing. Keep it up close to the top, nothing. Just turn it, ignored it. Get it about halfway down, about 1 foot deep. Bam, bam, snatch 2 up just back to back right quick.
Yep.
So you just got to constantly change your techniques.
And that would be the second choice to me, probably hyperelastic.
Yeah, swim bait
or
for
some
sure.
kind of a swim bait, you know, Snakehead Destroyer swim bait. I want to plug that because we make that, but that's not necessarily going to be the ticket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's hard to say what's going to work because these snakeheads just like every time you think you got them figured out, man, you just don't, you know?
I think I'd use lake colors more too, because
Yeah.
the water's going to be a little muddy
Yeah.
from all the wind, and it's going to be choppy on top. You got to give them something that's going to
That's
flash
a good
whenever
point
you
to
see
make,
it.
because any flats that are out and that wind slapping against, it's going to be getting muddy. And when tide pulls back out, it's going to pull that dirt away. I didn't think
Shiny and
about that.
light.
Well, also,
another
I would
thing
think
about, if you got mud lines, fish your mud lines, because you know your mud lines are going to be where all your grass shrimps wash. The May worms are getting ready to come in, so you have them little tiny red worms. They're washing on the edge of the tide. That's where you're going to find them if it gets cloudy. I think, you know what I mean. And if you're in cloudy water, then you're going to want noisy stuff. You know, you're going to want whopper ploppers. You're going to want buzz baits. Everybody overlooks a rattle trap. You know, I mean, they're sloppy as shit when they hit them. But I'll tell you what. Those things, they work great. I'm sorry I keep using that S word.
it's okay.
It's more words than that, you know. So, but I'm just saying, a rattle trap. Like last week, I was at a spot and I noticed there was tons and tons of gizzard shad there. Man, I hate to say this, I'm embarrassed to say it. I probably had 50 bites and only caught 2 fish. They like that bait for some reason, and some days you can't go wrong with it. But no matter when I throw it, they seem to respond to it. If you look at a lot of these places down here, we got water coming in. This is something these anglers want to look at tomorrow. You know, anything that's spawned, anything that's hatched out, any of these micro shad like this, they're going to be ganged up in places where there's current coming out of pipes, canals, things like that. You know, even with that cold water, those fish are still going to be active up in that shallower water. You know, so there's a good chance you might be able to find a pile of snakeheads laying right next to them, just waiting for an easy meal. I think. Cold fronts come through, they want easy meals. They want it slow. You know, it's like me and Gary. You know, we work all day, we're tired. We don't want to chase the ice cream truck down the road. We want to cook something on the grill and sit on the couch and watch TV. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. It looks like I'm checking the weather right now. It looks like high of 71 today. It's windy out there, there's no question. Low of 46 tonight. And then tomorrow a high of 66 and sun. So what time do people have to stop fishing for the tournament tomorrow?
So
we have to
be. Everybody has to be here at the store at 5 a.m. tomorrow for setting off. We have to get everybody straight for the captain's meeting. You head off from there. Have to be back here to the store before 4:30. If you're not here by 4:30, then your fish don't count. And we're going to start the weigh-ins shortly after that. We'll be live on Facebook and everything with the weigh-ins.
Awesome. Well, so I know what's going to happen at the weigh-in. We've got an extra little prize I wanted to make sure I mentioned for CCA members, and anybody can join CCA. Membership.joincca.org. All right. As of tomorrow, if you we're going to have a volunteer there. I can't make it personally, but we're going to have a volunteer there tomorrow who can sign you up as a new member. You'll be entered into the drawing. If you're an existing member and you're in the tournament, Eddie's already got the list.
Yep.
And somebody's going to get to pick a brand new pair of Costas. So brand new pair of Costa sunglasses, and we're gonna do this at every single tournament throughout the entire series. So they just got 4 pairs of sunglasses delivered at the store yesterday. Whoever's in that tomorrow, it's $35 to become a member, and you get to pick a pair of glasses that they have at the store if you get drawn.
If you're out there and you're not a sunglass person, I've always bought the $12 Walmart glasses until last summer, and I bought a pair of Costas last summer. They're a game changer. I would buy a 10, 12 pair a year because I'd lose them. I bought the straps go around the back of your head with these. I've had them for a year and haven't lost them yet. But they are awesome glasses.
They are.
Well, a buddy of mine was with me the other day, just a quick one, and I was cast a frog at a snakehead in muddy water. He was about 8 or 10 inches underwater, and we could see him swim up from the bottom, get right under the frog, and suck him down.
I love it.
And I hooked him.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been a Costa wearer for a long time, and of course they do support CCA, and their slogan is "See what's out there." So surely you can see out in that black water. They've got a bunch of great different lens options, but we've threw 4 pairs your way, and again, all you have to do is sign up, and you'll be able to sign up with one of our volunteers tomorrow at the weigh-in. And when are we doing the drawing for the bait cooler? Do you want to do that at the captain's meeting in the morning? Or?
We had talked about doing that in the captain's meeting in the morning, but I hadn't had a chance to talk to you since you weren't going to be there now.
Yeah.
We can still do it in the morning if you like, or we can do it during the live weigh-in.
Whoa. What do you mean you ain't going to be here now?
Sorry, buddy. Family stuff, and we're going to have Toby's going to be down there. Toby Fry, one of our board members.
I only have one choice. That's to sign your autograph and dress up like you. Because I've already had about 85 messages of people coming here to get your autograph. I know that.
Often imitated.
Hey, you collect the cash, Kaz, and I'll sign the autographs later. I think we might have to. So where are folks going to get bait if they're going to be bait fishing?
I was just about to go into that. Damien from the Bait Boys will be here first thing in the morning.
Damien, you better get your shit together.
if you need minnows, he'll be here first thing in the morning for you guys to get minnows for the tournament. So we'll have all that ready for you guys.
So you got the list of people that have signed up for the Great Chesapeake Invasives Count. I think you should give away the cooler first thing in the morning. Whoever that winner is, they'll be there. They can load up with some Bait Boys Snakehead Destroyer minnows.
I think it's
and ready to rock and roll, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So what do we want to say as a giveaway time for that?
We'll do that.
On 5? Or
no. We'll do that. We have to get everybody checked in first. We'll do that around 5:30. So right before everybody sets off, we'll give it away then.
Okay, so clarify for everybody so they understand. So they need to be here at 5 if they can.
Yep. You have to be here at 5 to check in here at the store before you go fishing.
So we can talk about all. So
we can go through all the rules, get everybody registered in, make sure you're here, and then we're going to give away the cooler. You guys can get with Damien and get your minnows after that, and then off you go and be here by 4:30 afterwards.
There you go, and take a cheesesteak for the road.
Get your minnows ahead.
I know one thing, man. I better get some sleep tonight. I can see that coming. I got crabs tomorrow. This going on. I got to run up the road after that. Got to come back here for the win. Good God. Hey, why don't you dress up like me tomorrow?
No, that's okay. No, I'll pass on that.
I want to get some of this. I want to get some of those Maryland flag socks. You wearing them right now, Kaz?
No, actually, I'm wearing some. I don't know what they're, white socks.
Plain white.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I always push them up. Everybody always gives me hell. Like, you old man, why you got your socks pushed up all over? I don't know. I'm supposed to.
They hang on those barnacles.
They were making fun of me yesterday because
they don't fall down.
They were making fun of me yesterday because I walk around in sandals with socks on and shoes. You know, so.
I love it. All right, so
there ain't no doubt about that.
I also saw a new addition. You guys have a new headliner for the series.
Yeah, absolutely. So Anglers stepped up, Angler Sports Center, and they're headlining our headline sponsor for all 4 tournaments now. They are fantastic.
Yeah, we got a little surprise for them coming.
Yeah, I know. I kind of told Eddie this too. You know, I mean, you look at. I mean, we've been doing this now for 4 years, hardcore in the snakehead thing, and we haven't asked for anything from anybody. So I think just the simple fact that we reached out to people, that we had helped, and they were quick to respond and say, "Hey, man, let me help you back." You know, that was really something. And when Lindsay said to me, she said, "Who's got the headliner?" I said, "Well, Eddie's got the Wolford store there." She goes, "Well, do you think we can have the headliner?" And I looked at Eddie, and Eddie looked at me, and I said, "You know what, man? They had us up there doing seminars. They had us up there through open houses. I mean, they helped us. We can't say no."
Exactly.
So it was only right to give them that opportunity to be at the top and to flag the name, because look, man, they're doing a lot too for the snakehead front.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at the amount of exposure they're getting just from the stuff. I mean, the stuff me and you were up there for. They
just had a great tournament. Monster Snakehead tournament they just put on was fantastic.
Yeah, back-to-back winners. I wonder if Joey's fishing in your tournament.
No, I don't think Joey signed up for ours this time. He did in 2019, but he didn't sign up this year.
Gotcha. He's probably hopefully at work.
That we're seeing all these people that are getting into this, and they're vying for. I don't want to say that name, but when you hold up a 14-pound, 15-pound snakehead, people don't forget they don't forget you right now. Exactly. That's kind of weird. I mean, you can't say that about many other fish. I always said it's a double-edged sword with this thing. It's got good, it's got bad. We got to find the balance. We got to come to. There's a way for us all to embrace this, man. And that's what we're really trying to do. And you're going to see that in some of the film that we've been doing with some of the people here. We're trying to get that point across that, we know we ain't going to get it done, but we got to embrace it, and we still got to help people, This whole mentality in the fishing world, and I know you see it, Dave, all the time, too. We see it every day here when there's a guy down there, and he says, "Where'd you catch your fish at?" "I saw your fish." "I'm telling you," and walks out the door. Mm-hmm. I just think to myself, as that 9-year-old kid that saw a guy with a 5-pound bass, and I'd never seen a bass that big, and I said, "Oh man, I never caught one." And he didn't tell me go home and screw yourself, Case. "Hey man, let me put this bass in the cooler, grab you a rod, and I'm gonna walk you back." That man walked me like a mile through the woods. I kind of got scared halfway in there. I'm like, I hope I didn't do the wrong thing today, because at least he wasn't offering candy or anything to go fishing. You know what I mean? He was offering night crawlers. So, but I mean, that's what did it for me. That taught me very early on that you learn from others, and the only way to learn from others is by others helping others, So, I mean, that's what we're just trying to do. That's all, man,
Absolutely. Well, there's so much to be said. I mean, we are a fishing community. We are a family. Every family has people that fight at the dinner table. There's nothing wrong with that. It is what it is. I'm of course so heavily involved in fish policy, and people ask me all the time, how do you deal with the drama? And it is what it is. I wish people would rise to the occasion, focus on some of the details and the science and the policy rather than each other. I always say there's no point in blowing out somebody else's candle to make yours shine brighter. And that's a reality, but everybody's different. They're going to approach these things differently. And there's a certain amount of freedom. People have a choice to do what they want to do with the fish they catch. Luke Morgan just chimed in the comments. He says they're delicious.
Absolutely.
Yes, they are.
And nutritious.
Yeah. And, it is what it is. There's no question they're spread throughout the Chesapeake, and we want to use this platform to share positivity and tips and tricks and an opportunity to, people to share this, because we're all in it together. If you want to go out there and catch your fish and release them, that's your choice. The government's in charge of making these rules. These are a public trust resource, whether they were native here or not. I think it's important, again, to hit on the point that there's a difference between non-native and invasive.
Absolutely.
Invasive is a status based on the impact that we believe they have on the ecosystem. There's scientific studies or anecdotal evidence that shows the impact they have. I think yesterday one of the facts that stood out in the podcast that everybody should listen to next, by going to the Facebook page and checking out the stream from yesterday that you guys did, Josh Newhart explained that a colony of about 600 snakeheads could eat 4,000 pounds of food in a year in a system.
That's unreal. That's an unreal number. And the fact that they've already caught 375 snakeheads out of the Conowingo dam lift, and so that's almost half that. So they basically saved at least 2,000 pounds of fish just from the Conowingo dam lift since they've been doing that work there.
Yeah, and this is just information. Scientific analysis of all this stuff is just trying to understand pieces of the puzzle. And there's plenty of assumptions. And I'll tell you what, listening to Joe 2 weeks ago and then Josh yesterday, I highly recommend folks to listen to it with an open mind and just recognize what they're proving versus the great unknown. And the great unknown will always be much greater than what we know in fisheries. I mean, you take a fish like striped bass, the Atlantic coast's most popular game fish, or sport fish. Yes, there's a commercial fishery as well. They're massive. It's a massive fishery. It's data rich, but managers definitely slipped up and they're heading in the wrong direction. So Absolutely. These things happen. I highly recommend people focus on the issue. Don't tear down your fellow angler. We're all in this together. When it's good, it's good. And when it's bad, it's bad, regardless of, what we try and control. There's a lot more things at play than what we have control over. And I think a big part of the invasives count is showing that we have a powerful seat at the table as citizen scientists, and we're going to learn a lot. I've been talking to all sorts of folks about different things we're going to add to the mix here. Just yesterday, All Tackle signed up. They're going to be the June promotional partner. We're going to be doing some cool targeting non-rockfish stuff during the summertime closure. That's July 16th to July 31st, when you can't target rockfish. So we're going to be redirecting that attention on catfish and snakeheads and some of the other fish we have. There's no question there's a lot of diverse fishing opportunities here in Maryland, and it's great. I highly recommend folks that have not gotten down to Dorchester County yet, stop at the Wolford store, check out the Blackwater's Edge stuff. There isn't how many episodes you guys have on your podcast now?
57. I think we just did 57 yesterday.
So buy a case of beer this weekend, people. Sit down and there are a couple of cases to get through 57 podcasts.
You can take a couple cases. Each one's at least an hour long.
I can't have it.
Or whatever's the right drink, Red Bull, whatever. So, because there's so much information there. I get phone calls all the time. They're like, Dave, where do I catch a snakehead? Where do I catch a snakehead? I said, I don't know. I'm busy. I'm at my desk, man.
I sent Eddie my phone the other day. Like, this is stupid. Like, a week, I'm averaging 600 to 800 friends requests. It's just stupid. Yeah. And I send it to Eddie every time it reloads. I'm like, here, dude, 2 days later, here's another 226, man. You know what I mean? I do want to talk about this, though, really quick. Bow fishing. Okay. So A lot of folks have asked us about the tournament of bow fishing. I only want to touch on this because I think it's a very sensitive topic and I want to address it to the bow fishing guys. We definitely promote bow fishing. Mm-hmm. The only reason we didn't include bow fishing this time in the tournament or in the Calcutta is last year we only had how many guys signed up for bow fishing last year, Eddie?
I think it was only 5 total. So 5 or 6 total signed up for it throughout all 4
throughout the whole year, but most tournaments was only 2 of them that were checking.
Exactly. Yep.
So we kind of looked at that as, do we want to ask a sponsor to really pay $1,000 for 5 guys? It just kind of didn't seem like that was going to go very well. Mm-hmm. So after renegotiating and talking it over, originally we thought maybe we'd let the bow guys shoot in the tournament, But then I got to thinking about it from a real talk standpoint.
We talked about it, and we decided it was best to not intermingle bow fishing with hook and line, because it gave an unfair advantage to the bow fishermen if the fish just weren't biting on lures or minnows, and so it wasn't a fair fight. It wasn't apples for apples, and so we decided to break it up between bow fishing and a separate even a separate tournament now. And so we're going to have a bow fishing tournament later in the year once we get all the sponsorship straight for that. So.
And like I told Eddie, what I foreshadowed was if we did something like that and had them in there, and they see some guys up there fishing for fish and they're not catching them, they pull right on them and shoot them.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? It's
just not
so what we're going to do now is we're going to have we'll do a couple night deals, because we know we can't do them during the day. But we'll do 1 or 2 this year, just strictly bow fishing, and we'll give everybody from around the state an opportunity to come here and do something. You know what I mean? Or maybe we'll do 1 here, and we'll do 1. Maybe get somebody to handle the Potomac, and we'll do 2 or something.
Yeah, we're still, like I said, we're still working on the details, because that was something we talked about, and we kind of decided on it a little bit late, but all the anglers we talked to understood, and everybody was on board with it. And so, but we're still working out the details for how we're going to handle a bow fishing tournament or tournaments later in the year.
Yeah, and I've got experience managing a lot of different tournaments, and you can never make one perfect.
No,
never.
That's exactly right.
You got a new person walks through the door with new ideas, and it's like, and the key
I do
to making them.
This too, Dave. You have really helped us.
Oh my goodness,
you know, I mean, like
my pleasure.
I've been doing this a little bit, but I'm not familiar with like the bureaucracy, the political. I'm not familiar with all that. But I tell you,
stay that way.
But now that I've learned about it, it's kind of intriguing to me, and kind of makes me want to like lean more in that direction to try to get funds to help other projects that may be lacking in funding. I just simply look at what just happened with Andy Harris with getting the money for the snakehead allocations. Like him or love him, doesn't matter. He did something good for the state by doing that. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, I mean, I see a big picture here with that. You know what I mean? If these people really care as much as they say they care, they're going to get involved. So pay attention to who gets involved. That's my point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If they're going to help carry the message, then support them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe not support them just for that, but look them overall. And we need more people politically connected here that kind of get a little more involved with what we the public see, not so much what other people see that are on their level. We're the people that see it first, Yep. We're the people that should be getting a lot of attention from those folks, trying to give us helping hand.
I think that's why it's so important to have a tournament like the Great Invasives Count, where it's citizen science, because that's where your real data comes from, and that's who's really going to help drive policy.
Well, and there's a lot of people, including myself, that have always said nobody listens to the average guy. Well, here's your chance to get listened to.
Exactly.
Well, and that's the spirit with which CCA was created. It was a group of average guys down in Texas in the late 70s. They got together at a tackle shop and said, hey, we're sick and tired of going fishing. We've been working all week. We go fishing, there's no fish left. So they got involved and enacted or helped support policies that have led to a brighter fishery down there for the recreational angler. And nothing's easy. I mean, we're talking about a public resource. We're talking about an increasing population of people. You look at the Chesapeake Bay watershed, the impact we all have on water quality and on land that impacts our water. We're all a part of the problem in many ways, and there's only so many people that choose to deal with the stress and the frustration of politics. And unfortunately, there's politics in everything, and I always tell people, don't live on the dark side of the moon, flip to the bright side, turn it optimistic, go, okay, there's this tough issue I want to try and tackle. Well, roll up your sleeves and get to work, and keep an open mind, respect those that are in the arena with you. And that's the only way that you're ever going to affect positive change. And guess what? If you're a Republican, guess what? A Democrat might do something good for you. If you're a Democrat, a Republican might do something for you. That's the most simple way to define political parties. But, it doesn't define people. And I think we all see that now more than ever. So I'm, being a director of a nonprofit, we don't get involved in partisan politics. We look straight at the issue. We don't support or we don't oppose elected officials. We work with everybody. And with a natural resource, since the Roman Empire, they've had this idea that the public resource belongs to us all. Look at across the world. We are so fortunate in this country to have a voice. You guys just had your elected representative from your district on the phone with you talking about allocating resources to your local area. I mean, just think about that. And that is only available in this country. And so, there's plenty of complexity in DC. There's plenty of things they get wrong. But guess what? You don't step up to the plate and get involved and engage in a positive way, somebody else is making the decisions for you. And I don't know what else to tell people other than, get involved. And there's a lot of stuff that happens with CCA where people say, oh, well, that's just CCA is trying to do this. CCA is trying to do that. I will tell you, we have a diverse membership, more diverse membership than you would imagine, in thought, in policy, in background, and you name it. And we have internal debates. We try and work through these things, but we take each issue on its face value. And a decision we made a year ago might be different than a decision we make next year on that exact same issue, because that's the only way to address these policies is take the information you have, make a decision, do it with respect to those around you, and constantly just power through in the arena to get this work done. So I'll step off my soapbox for a minute, but that's such an important part of my job. And I think you can hear the passion.
Right. No, what you just said, and I'm going to use the word open-mindedness, willing to learn, remaining teachable. For so long in my life, man, I was so one way, man. Like it was my way or there was no way. Don't tell me that. It's my way. So what I've learned is that, it's all about compromise. It's all about, if there's a middle ground, let's try to find it. It's all about, for me, a lot of people don't believe it, but for me, it's coming together. The people that have reached out to me, the people that have talked to me, the people that know me, know that I'm not this guy out here just begging you to murder snakeheads. Guys come fishing with me that don't keep snakeheads. Mm-hmm. And it's almost insulting to me when they say, hey, man, do you care if I let my fish go? Because you know what? It's your fish. And you said it 100% when you were talking about it. And this is what people need to understand. You can release a snakehead. You can let it go right where you caught it. It is not against the law. I mean, you still see the comments every time somebody drops a fish. Oh, you're going to jail. Oh, you're getting a fine. They're going to take you down. Do what you want. Just
follow the law.
That and pay attention. For me, it was pay attention. I'm going to put this out there. In the beginning, I was friends with nothing but guys who wanted snakehead as a game fish, because in the beginning, I loved that fish that much, and I thought it was that great. I loved that fish like that for 3 years. The first year I caught 3 in the spot. The second year I caught 50. The third year I caught 100 and some. That third year flew a flag to me because there was no white perch. There was no this. There was no nothing. It was just nothing but school of snakeheads. So I kind of blame myself at times at night, did I wait too long? Did I keep my mouth shut too long? Did I?
We can speak for a lot of things. We're not going to blame you for the snakeheads.
But was I being selfish? Was I being selfish by trying to keep these fish to myself? You know what I mean? And I was, because if I'd been more open in the beginning and more, in the beginning, I was kind of that guy on Facebook. I don't know who you are, dude. I ain't telling you nothing. And with time, I don't know. My whole mentality changed, man. Like, I'm not that kind of fisherman anymore. I want to see everybody catch fish. I want to help as many people as I can, man. I had a guy yesterday reach out to me, said, my son's blind, but he knows how to fish. He said, you want to ask me how? And I thought this guy was like making a joke. I said, okay, how? He goes, when he feels his rod bend, he sets the hook. Can you take him fishing?
There you go.
I said, yeah, man, sounds like a plan to me.
Absolutely.
That's how I am. I don't even know the guy, so.
Now, just following that update, I see in the comments that somebody was asking about the impact on the snakehead count. And part of that is
up on the screen. Yep.
Exactly. So, and part of our tournament series is to try and help manage the snakehead population. We all believe that we're never going to be able to eliminate the snakehead now. As proficient as they are at breeding and spreading, there's just no way to.
I'll just tell you.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no way to effectively eliminate them completely. But part of our responsibility as stewards of the outdoors is to help try and manage this population as much as possible. And part of this tournament series is to help manage that snakehead population.
And Jim and Joe both even said that, or I'm sorry, Josh and Joe even said that we're not getting rid of them. You know what I mean? But we can help by harvesting some. I mean. And the simple math that he showed us through we were talking about the weights and things, I mean, that right there, I don't know what it did for everybody else, but I went home and I sat down with a piece of paper and I was just trying to figure out a particular river and how many tributaries were on that river. And if I took that number and I put in each of them systems, what was that impact in that tributary?
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a scary ass number.
Well, and you got to
know?
look at the, recommend people, they see the Chesapeake Bay all the time, but you got to take a step back, zoom out, look at the tributary or the system. It's the nation's largest estuary, a national treasure. And, people moving around Snakeheads is against the law on purpose because you're impacting another system that's wildly different than, let's say, the Dorchester-Blackwater complex. You've got the Potomac, you've got the Patuxent, you've got just about every tributary in the Maryland portion of the Chesapeake has Snakeheads at this point. And it's because people move them or they move themselves. And I will flat out say and never change my mind that it's completely irresponsible for somebody to introduce a non-native species into an area. There's tons of history of it. The long list of many fish we pursue, largemouth bass, rainbow trout, brown trout, are not native to certain parts of this area. But these are all trade-offs, and this is a part of public resource management. It's a reason that we have a seat at the table as anglers, is to have the conversations and try and understand what we want things to look like. All too often, the conversations get more about the guy next to you, the gal down the bridge, and you're in competition. And it's like, whoa, people. A, we're in this together, and B, we got to always shape an opportunity to have a conversation about it in a reasonable way, because everybody's desires for the future are going to be different. But I will flat out say it to anybody that if you move these fish, you're irresponsible. And I, wearing my CCA hat, working on behalf of recreational anglers in Maryland, I work on a penalty work group. It's all about what happens to somebody if they're caught breaking one of the fisheries laws. And we promoted the idea that if you were caught moving live snakeheads, you'd lose your fishing license for the year. Well, unfortunately, somewhere between our recommendation and the final decision-making process, they decided that was too harsh.
Too harsh.
And so now NRP kind of has the ability to write you a ticket, whatever. And it's like, people, we can't have nice things unless you actually make rules in life and stick to them. That said, there's catching and releasing a fish is, again, your personal choice. And I recommend that people take that, personal choice. I've evolved as an angler. I think anybody in the sportsman community, whether hunting and fishing, can think back to when they started to where they are today, and their ethics change, their choices they make change, what drives them changes. I used to be an obsessed duck hunter, obsessed deer hunter. Now I'm happy actually just educating people about fishing.
And that's not even in just the outdoors. I mean, that's just in all facets of life.
Yeah.
Opinions aren't changing as you learn things.
I agree with that, Dave. I mean, I don't fish 7 days a week anymore. I used to fish every single day,
I'm down to 6 myself.
Getting lazy.
But my point is, as you get involved in this kind of work, I think you make special connections that are kind of different than the connections that I've made with fellow fishermen. You know what I mean? Like me and a buddy, we might agree on something, me and you, we might not agree. Now, my buddy doesn't have the education to teach me, but somebody like you has the education to teach me. Mm-hmm. So I find myself today kind of in the same position you are. If I've learned something, the first thing I want to do is go share it with everybody. That cheek meat post I made the other day,
my goodness,
it went crazy everywhere. Okay, now
you're gonna end up getting me divorced if you keep posting stuff like that, because that makes me want to leave my house, hop in my truck, drive to catch a snakehead, and not come home until I get enough cheek meat saved up to make something like that.
Well, this is how that happened. Okay, like I eat cheek meat. A lot of people eat cheek meat. So a good friend of mine, he's very good at cutting fish and he does it full time, but he didn't want to be exposed as the guy who did it. Whatever. So he sent me the pictures and, he told me a little about it. I said, yeah, man, I said I eat it too. He goes, hey, if you want to use these to share, he said, I wrote this up. You can forward that. And I read through it and I thought, you know what, man, this is really neat that this guy has taken the time to sit down and go through this, take these pictures, make these dishes and write this thing up and doesn't even want any credit for it. That kind of blew my mind. So
I remember we were talking about a year ago about taking one of those little melon ball scoops.
Yes.
We were sharpening the edge of it and cutting the cheeks out of them because it's a nice chunk of meat in there.
I think a lot of people in the comments of the post the other day were comparing it to scallops. I think that's a great comparison.
Scallops. Yeah. I mean, I eat rockfish, I eat walleye. So I think that really showed another part of the snakehead too. I don't know how many. It's like in the tens of thousands of traffic on that thing. You know what I mean? So people probably learned something yesterday from something that I learned. You know what I mean? And that's the cool thing. You can look at that and be like, hey, man, tell that person to teach the next guy too. You know, that's the biggest thing that I do, man. When I learn something from somebody and I pass it on, and they say, "Hey, thanks a lot. What can I do for you?"
Hey, Kaz, I got a heavy statement for you. We all sit in the shade of a tree that somebody else planted long before us.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Think about that. We've all learned something from each other, and every single day we have an opportunity to get positive reinforcement from people we work with, learn something, and pass it on. And I get this. There's this perception about CCA, all these different perceptions, and you wouldn't believe the rumors and the phone calls I get. Hey, are you guys up to this? Are you guys up to that? I die of laughter with it all the time. So I'm like, you guys are nuts. And this perception that we're anti-seafood and that kind of stuff, and want to shut down this, want to do that. No. We want to have some balance in our resources so people can go out and enjoy fishing. And yes, I will tell you flat out, recreational fishing is important, and we give back to management, we give back to the science. But I'm not against seafood. I love it. I love cooking it. And I've been talking with Chef Chad Wells, and some other folks, and we've got stuff coming out through the invasives count to promote cooking these things. Because if y'all don't realize that all this drive about fishing is inside your brain is like a primal thing to feed yourself and feed your family, I think you're missing out. We are so lucky that we've gotten to the point where we can afford to, and we can accept the fact that we can go play with our food as recreational anglers and let it go if we want. That's awesome. Most of the world doesn't have that opportunity.
I tell folks, when you take your cooler full of snakeheads home and you clean it up and you freeze and you put everything up and you got your package in for each meal and all that, stop one time and think really about the money that you save at the grocery store, okay? And it's considerable if you really think about, like I said, well, it cost me more, and it cost me $82 a pound for this fish today between gas and tolls.
You're gonna spend it anyway.
You are, right. So that's my thing, like when I go fishing and I've had a great day, I think about, man, I lost this day, I lost that day, I lost that day. That was $75 in gas and tolls. But shit, today I just got me 200 pounds of fillets in 3 days, and I'm stocked up. If I had to go buy them 200 pounds at the store for $8 a pound, bro, that's $1,600, dude.
Yep.
That's how I look at it. It's stupid, but that's how I look at it.
No, it's a great way to look at it. Everybody has their own reasons to justify their actions. And I'll tell you what I think what so many people have learned during the pandemic is how important being outdoors is. Not only absorbing vitamin D from the sun, but fresh air, getting away from our screens, getting away from the house, being able to be safe and separate from people. It is a mental health thing to go outdoors, to stand in a tree stand, to stand on a riverbank, to wet a line. And it's the best thing in the world as a sportsman when you can get to that point and go, you know what, just because I'm here, it's priceless. Because I've saved a lot on therapy. I'll tell you that over the years.
And I mean, really stop and look around the world.
Well,
how much of the world gets to do this kind of stuff? Really?
They don't.
They don't. To me, fishing, the eating is a perk,
Right.
Because I'm going to do it anyway. But I've never ate a golf ball. Maybe they're pretty good. I don't know. It's hard to beat a snake in a cicadeer. It's just.
Well, we were talking the other day when we went fishing with Andrew from Outdoors Delmarva, and we said, I mean, just the boat ride out to our fishing spot was worth the trip alone, let alone catching any fish. I mean, that was
never taking anybody back on the Blackwater River that didn't comment more so on the river than the fishing.
Exactly.
And we've had some good days, but it's just
we've had some great days.
Awesome place to go, man.
Yeah. It really is. It's a place you can just completely unwind and enjoy yourself. And this state is America in miniature. There are so many great opportunities from one side to the other. It's very unfortunate to think that people would spread an invasive species around and impact what Maryland is, because you're changing it for the future. But we have it. We're going to deal with it. If we're handed lemons, we turn it into lemonade. There's tons of great opportunities. Go out and catch these fish. Stop by the store, check it out, sign up for these tournaments. And beyond the tournaments, what else you guys have going on? I think there's a club in the works. There's some mentorship happening. What's up?
We're doing the snakeheadclub.com. We're going to be meeting our first meeting is the 19th of next month, May 19th. We're going to have the winner of tomorrow's tournament is going to be our guest speaker there at the Snakehead Club. It's $50 to join the club, or if you enter in all 4 tournaments, you get into the club for free for the year. And it's just gonna be a great time. We're gonna be meeting once a
Door
month.
prizes.
Yeah, door
great,
prizes,
great
the whole work.
location. We're meeting
Yeah,
at
we're,
the American Legion there on Route 50, right at the foot of the bridge.
we're working with a bunch of corporate sponsors now with some jerseys, stuff for the guys in
Yep.
the club. We're getting some special deals put together on tackle to give them discounts on stuff. If they come down here and get stuff at the store, we're going to set a program up for that. Give you a card, get punched out. Once you get so many of this, you get something for free.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of benefits to this thing. It's going to open a lot of doors to a lot of other things also. We've got other programs that we're working with other people around the state, which you know about, the First Cast program and other things like that. So we want to infuse all this into the snakeheadclub.com. And you don't have to be from Dorchester County to be
Absolutely
in the
not.
club. So the way we're going to set it up is we'll have a live feed basically on Facebook or however we're going to do it. Probably not through Facebook. You're going to have to be signed up and paid to view it.
Right.
And we don't want you to be able to share it all around the world so everybody can see. We want you to pay to come and watch the show with us. It ain't going to be a lot of money. It's not going to be $25 or $80 to watch it, But when you join as a member, you will get that exclusive right to feed the live feed to your home. So
Right.
if you live in Ohio or you live in Louisiana where they're catching them, or you live in Mississippi where they're catching them, or you live in Florida where they're catching them. The snakehead craze is getting so big around the world that I think eventually it's not just going to be something that's situated here. This is going to be something that's going to be globally. It's going to be a global community, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be all kinds of different communities.
Right.
But the good thing about it, I think, is that if we all promote this thing and we all do this right, it'll be one big community, We see the future. We see the future of tournament trails. We see the future of clubs. We see the future of a lot of things that I don't think a lot of people are looking at. We're working on getting some sanctioning done so that we can say this is a sanctioned tournament for snakehead fishing through blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to build off of what's here, and we want to take everybody with us. You know what I mean? And like I said, we're grateful that people have reached out to us and helped give us a push with folks like yourself. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
how it works. The only way to grow the brand of doing these things is for folks to work together, And
Absolutely.
I think that's the neatest thing here is to look at all the different platforms that are working together. Look at the diversity and the sponsorship of people that sponsor the tournament. Some of these people don't even fish. They just think it's awesome, and they want to do their part here in the community to help, So, tomorrow, I want folks to know that we're going to have some trash bags here if you need them to
Yep.
take with you.
Absolutely.
That's something we've always been concerned about here. And we've paid attention to and put utmost first. When somebody calls us and says there's a problem, Gary, me, we go take a look, and if there's something there, then we act and we take care of it. You know what I mean? The good thing is that we're seeing folks now that are coming here post all the time. We're not seeing big bags of trash, but just seeing somebody with a little bag with a couple containers in it, And even that little tiny bit of trash makes a big difference, If you just pick up 2 cans a day, that makes a big difference. Think about it. 40 people were here a day and picked up 2 cans around Dorchester County. That's
Yeah,
80 cans a day.
I'm going to share something on the screen right now because you're hitting on that exact point. It's a guy you guys know. There's Leroy.
Leroy,
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
we
Leroy.
were just talking about
Yeah,
him.
we
yeah.
were talking about him. Yeah,
So-
Leroy, he comes down all the time. Look, Leroy's promoting kids, and I reached out to Leroy last night because we want the kids to know that this youth division in this tournament, it's free.
Yep.
It's
Love it.
absolutely free. So look, if you don't have something to do Saturday and you got kids, take a ride down here. Bring your lawn chair, man. Take them out. Take them fishing for the day. Take a kid fishing. That's what we got to start doing. I say it all the time. More tackle boxes, less X boxes. Eddie don't want to hear that, but you know what I'm saying?
I like both.
He does.
Well, and I think this is the private group, but Leroy started Snakehead Kids Family Fun Fishing, and I know they've got an event coming up. There's 2 groups on Facebook. Folks, search that out, check it out. Leroy's a retired educator who's doing some great work. I'm proud to say that we turned a donation that CCA received in hats from our friends at Under Armour. They are at the embroiderer right now, and every kid that participates in Leroy's event next weekend down in Blackwater is getting one of these free hats thanks to Under Armour, thanks to Leroy's inspiration. CCA, we're happy to put our resources behind it, and that's what it's all about. It's about community. I want to plug our Kids Corner as well because I'm glad you mentioned youth, free youth. This is a way that kids can get a free membership to CCA. We encourage them to pick a project, do something to express themselves and their interest in the outdoors. Have their parents help them if they're too young, or if they're old enough, sign up. you get a free membership with CCA. This is something we're going to continue to promote, and hopefully we're going to get some hats on the way as well. These little drawing pages, I just had a snakehead and a blue cat one completed. So there are going to be some invasive species information on the Kids Corner at CCA's website as well. So that's what it's all about, a giant community working together, recognizing that it's okay to disagree, but what we all have in common is what we need to celebrate. That's what's going to get us through all this and move us into the future.
I think the biggest thing here that we do need to look at is the future, and I'm not the future. I'm going to be 50 years old in a couple more years.
God bless you.
I'm just saying.
He's a rookie still, Gary, huh?
We're not going to be here another 50 years, let's say.
Yep.
If I am, amen, but I hope to God I'm not.
I hope I am.
Well, I'm just saying. These kids now that are here, like the kids Leroy's are working with, our first cast program, all this stuff, that is the future. I mean, I'm not just blowing smoke as a slogan, but they are our future, So I think it's very important right now to seize that opportunity and to try to educate these kids. I don't know that the right way is the word to use. I don't know if there's a wrong way.
Right.
I think that right now, with the way society is, we are so detached from so much crap out here. It's not even funny, Everybody is in their own little bubble these days, If we can get these kids on the water, and we can get these kids shooting a pellet gun, or we can get these kids digging up some arrowheads, or we can get these kids flipping rocks for salamanders, or taking their butterfly net to the stream and scraping the bottom and ripping holes in it and catching little salamanders. I mean, I think about the things that I did. Mm-hmm. I look at the new breed of fishermen, and I have to tell you, a lot of the new breed of fishermen that I take and I go fishing with, and I'm talking about, I want to say like the late teens to like maybe 30s class of anglers, let's say.
What's wrong with being in your 30s?
Well, I'm nothing. I'm just saying, but these guys come down, I take them out, and I take them to set a minnow trap. They've never done that. Right. I take them and I put a crawfish trap out. They've never done that.
It's not a matter of
it's this. This is what they've done. I mean, this is what they've been doing the last 10, 15 years, So they haven't been exposed to those things that we had that opportunity to see before all this stuff started. You know what I mean?
It's not as much exposure, I think, is opportunity. I mean, that's what the first cast program is about.
That's exactly right.
It's people that never had the opportunity, having the opportunity. So I talk to a lot of hunters, and it surprised me how many hunters never hunted until they were 30 years old. Never had the opportunity when they were kids and just never did it. Go one time and they're nuts. They just love it.
I just got to mention this. I talk to kids, a lot of kids, and I say to them, "Do you go fishing?" No. Why not? Well, Mom's always on the computer. My dad's always on the computer. They're always too busy. I'm just being blunt. I mean, like, I look around at a lot of my friends and like, there's no social life with them. It's like they're home, they're on the couch or on the TV, the kids upstairs playing video games, other ones out back doing no good or something. You know what I mean? A lot of change needs to take place. And I think that this is a great place to begin. I know it's not the only place to begin, but I think that this is an opportunity that's being presented to us that we need to take hold of. I mean, we need to do the best that we can do with it. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong. I don't know what that is. But I think if everybody does their best, that's all we can do in life is just do our best, So I'm happy to do my best, Some days I don't, but I try to.
Absolutely. And so Rachel Dawson, one of our longtime board members who lives a life outdoors, and I'm glad to have her chime in. Mentoring is so important for kids and adults. And if 100%. The adults miss that part, they're missing out completely. Yep. Seeing the outdoors through a youth's eyes and unlocking all those things is just, it's enriching. And if it doesn't make it, just feel really good and make you confident about the future, then I don't know what does. And I think back of just how important all the times on the water and in the field are to me. Kaz, you're talking about all those different experiences. I will never forget the day I walked in hip boots across a low tide creek in Chincoteague duck hunting. I was 13 years old, and it was the most stressful and scary situation because I got stuck, but I'll never forget it because it taught me something. And it teaches you how to deal with adversity. It teaches you that the dirt in your fingernails is not a bad thing, and all these experiences these kids are not learning, or people are not learning, I think lead to all the stressors and the conflict that we see on social media and all those other kinds of things. Because you never learn yourself until you get an opportunity to get outside and do it.
I was talking to a young man the other day, and he was here at the store out front. I said to him, how was your day today? He goes, man, I had a horrible day, man. I said, what's so horrible about it? He told me everything. I says, well, how could you have made a good day? He goes, I don't think I could have. I said, well, maybe you did something good for the day. You might have had a better day. Here's the bottom line. It's all about what we put in today. When I go home tonight and I sit down, I reflect over the day. I look at what I've done and I think about, did I bring something to the day or did I take something away today? Because it seems today more people want to take than they want to put back. See what I'm saying? So if you didn't get anything out of today, you didn't put anything in it. You know what I mean? So.
Well, there you go. So we've had a great chat, guys. I got to hit the road because I got to get outdoors with my family right now. And we're going to go enjoy some fresh air and this pollen and this crazy wind in the spring that we have. So I've got in the comments earlier today, we posted where folks can sign up for the Snakehead Spring Kickoff. Again, do it right now. Head down to Wolford Store. You heard the times to check in and the weigh in. Even if you're not fishing and you get a chance to hop in the car tomorrow, go check out, stop by the store, get a cheesesteak, get some fried snakehead, get whatever you can. And just check it out. There's so many great roads to kind of wander around throughout the lower Dorchester County area, the Blackwater complex. You will see sights and sounds that you can't believe. The whole world is spawning right now, right? You got eagles, ospreys, fish, you name it.
We just went out Wednesday. We see 15 eagles in a mile.
Yep, in one mile.
It was just, they were everywhere.
It's really, really cool. Like a lot of the turkey hunters that are out here turkey hunting, as they're walking around fields and stuff, there's just dead bodies of snakeheads everywhere. It's just in the middle of the woods, man. There's 3 of them in the pine under a pine tree.
It's just the eagles trying to eat them, and it's just all kinds of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's kind of a good thing, though. You know what I mean?
That's one good thing out of snakeheads. They certainly had a great food source for the
eagles are eating good
predator birds.
Yep.
Yeah, and in a decade, 2 decades from now, we're going to look back and figure out how right or wrong we were about all these opinions everybody has, and that's just life. So.
Yeah.
I hope this everybody, you guys have a great event tomorrow. I'm sorry I cannot make it, but somebody's going home with an angle cooler. Somebody that joined CCA or is already an active member and checked in at membership.joincca.org will get to pick a pair of Costa sunglasses. And we're going to continue to do some great stuff. Again, there's multiple chances to win throughout the year. Check out the club. Check out Blackwater's Edge on Facebook and everywhere else you can. And thank you guys so much for being a driving force and positive and sharing what you do and what you love down there in Dorchester County and beyond. We're so happy to be working with you and can't wait to do some more with you this year and into the future.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Y'all have a great weekend and catch them up.
All right, buddy.
We love you, brother.
Thanks, everybody, for following along.
See you.